Alright, so there is a lot of stuff going on. CinemaCon has just started, and yes, look forward to me having videos breaking down all the stuff that the studios say at CinemaCon. It's going to come a bit later because, I'm on the East Coast, I'm not out on the West Coast. Um, so it's not going to be up day of. It's going to be probably a day later that I'm going to talk about it. So Sony's will probably be tomorrow, so on and so forth for the schedule. Um, I do have intentions on starting a Mission Impossible series where I'm going to give my reviews for all seven of the Mission Impossible films before 8 comes out. Hopefully, I can start that tomorrow. And of course, there's all the other movies and stuff that I'm going to be reacting to, or reviewing, I should say. And also, Andor's coming out later in the month, so I'll probably have a video coming out um, about why Andor Season 1 was really, really good. But for right now, horror is on a roll right now. Last year was such a good year for horror movies. And we have awards. We're going to have award shows for it. Of course, there's the Saturn's, Fangoria does Chainsaw Awards, but the one that I am most interested in, it is less than 3 weeks away. It is the Dead Meat Horror Awards. I'm so excited for this. I've watched every single year, and this year is going to be no exception. I'm going to probably have my um, live reactions to it when it premieres on April 26th. But for right now, let us go over the nominees for all the categories that are listed. So let's kick it off with Best Original Horror Film. Nominees being Heretic, I Saw the TV Glow, In a Violent Nature, Longlegs, Strange Darling, and The Substance. So, again, just like my Oscar predictions, I'm going to say if I've seen any of the films that are listed. And I actually have. I've seen 5 out of the 6, but I've tangentially seen 6 out of the 6 because I've watched the kill count for In a Violent Nature. But I did see the remaining 5 in theaters. Now, this is a tough one because I loved all of them. I really loved all of them. If I were to have a dark horse, it would probably be Strange Darling because I really liked Strange Darling. But I'm gonna have to give it to The Substance mainly because A, it's really good. B, it was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and C, I have a feeling that this movie might sweep all of its categories that it's nominated in. I'm pretty sure. So, for Best Original Film, I have The Substance winning. Moving on now to Best Remake or Sequel. Nominees being Alien Romulus, The First Omen, Nosferatu, Smile 2, Speak No Evil, and Terrifier 3. So, this one, I have seen all 6 of them. I've seen all 6 of them in theaters. So that's a good thing. Um, this is... I see this as a 3-horse race between Nosferatu, Smile 2, and Terrifier 3. I think it's between those 3. If I were to have a guess, this is tough. Nosferatu. I'm thinking Nosferatu might get it. And the only reason I nudge it above Terrifier 3, which would be my number 2, and Smile 2, which is 3, is because I love it just that little bit more. I love that it's gothic as hell and doesn't apologize for it. The production designs are really, really cool. Skarsgård looks amazing in that. And just amazing performances all around. So, just by a hair, I would say Nosferatu wins. But I would be very happy if Smile 2 or Terrifier 3 won. And any of the other ones, I'd be happy if they won. Because they're all movies are really, really good. Moving on now to Best Director, we have nominated Coralie Farja for The Substance, Osgood Perkins for Longlegs, Jane Schoenbrunn for I Saw the TV Glow, Parker Finn for Smile 2, Greg Jardin for It's What's Inside, and Robert Eggers for Nosferatu. I've seen 5 out of the 6 nominated. And like I said earlier on, I have a feeling that Substance might sweep all of the categories that it's nominated in. So I'm going to say it's Coralie Farja for The Substance. If I would have to pick a number 2, I would say Robert Eggers for Nosferatu, because I really liked what he and Jaron Blaschke did with the cinematography and the shots. But to me, I'm thinking Substance is probably going to sweep this year, much like how When Evil Lurks swept last year. I'm thinking The Substance will probably sweep this year, so I'm going to say Coralie Farja wins Best Director. Moving on now to Best Performer in a Lead Role. Now, unlike what the Oscars do, and that separate male and female, here it is combined, male and female. So only 6 nominees here, but those 6 nominees are David Dastmalchian as Jack Delroy in Late Night with the Devil, Willa Fitzgerald as the lady in Strange Darling, Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed in Heretic, Michael Monroe as Lee Harker in Longlegs, Demi Moore as Elizabeth Sparkle in The Substance, and Naomi Scott as Sky Riley in Smile 2. Now, this one's another tough one because all of them could have won in separate years. And I love all of these performances, and I've seen all of them. But I think this may be another 3-horse race between Dastmalchian, Moore, and Scott. And I'm thinking that Demi Moore is probably going to get it, mainly off of the fact of she won Golden Globe, she won SAG, and she was nominated for an Oscar for this performance. That's what kind of tips her over the edge of Scott and Dastmalchian. Dastmalchian being my number 3, and Scott being my number 2. I'm thinking Demi Moore is probably going to get it, just off of those reasons, like I said above. But again, all of these performances would have won in another year, but Demi Moore was just on a completely different level. Moving on to Best Performer in a Supporting Role. Again, no separation of male and female. It's all together. Nominees being Jack Haven as Maddie or Mady, and I Saw the TV Glow. David Johnson as Andy in Alien Romulus. James McAvoy as Patty in Speak No Evil. Margaret Qualley as Sue in The Substance. Alicia Ware as Abigail in Abigail. And Alicia Witt as Ruth Harker in Longlegs. Again, all 6 of these movies I've seen, and I'm gonna say Margaret Qualley's gonna get it. Mainly because, like I said, I'm thinking The Substance will probably sweep this year. If I had to pick a number 2, I would say David Johnson. He was so good as Andy in Alien Romulus. He was really, really good. Um, and then a number 3, I would probably say Alicia Ware as Abigail. I really liked her as Abigail. So yeah, that would be my picks for supporting role. Moving on now to best villain. Now, villains have a soft spot in my heart. I really like villains, so this will be a hard one for me to choose. Nominees being Abigail in Abigail, Art the Clown in Terrifier 3, Count Orlok in Nosferatu, Johnny in A Violent Nature in A Violent Nature, Longlegs from Longlegs, and Solange from The Front Room. Now, I've not seen The Front Room. That's my mistake. But the others I have seen or have tangentially have seen. I think this is a 2-horse race between Art and Count Orlok. And I'm going to say Art is going to get it. Only because people, I think, found Orlok a bit divisive. Some liked his look, some didn't. Some liked his voice, some didn't. It just comes down to a matter of tastes, really. I'm wondering if, much like how they did last year, they'll say who was on the panel for voting. But I'm assuming Art is going to have the edge here, mainly because, it's David Howard Thornton. He gives it his all every single time. But I would say Orlok would be a close second to Art in that instance. Moving on now to Best Kill. Now, the one that's on the Reddit is a bit out of date, so I went to their Twitter to make sure that I got the correct nominees. Nominees for Best Kill: Azrael's in Luther, Aurora's in A Violent Nature, in A Violent Nature, John Labbit in Maxine, Lewis's from Smile 2, Cole's from Terrifier 3, and Arnab's from VHS Beyond. Now, I'm trying to remember because I think I've seen all of these kills. I've seen 5 out of the 6 of them. Luther's, I may have Googled or found it on YouTube, but it's been a while since I've watched it. Aurora's is, of course, the infamous yoga kill where Johnny sticks the chain in her head and pulls her head through her stomach. John's Labbit's is... I'm trying to remember... yes. Okay. I was trying to remember who the character is. It was Kevin Bacon's character, where he got crushed in the car compactor. That was a really good kill. Lewis's from Smile 2, that's where the one where he bashes his head in with the steel, the weight plate. Cole's from Terrifier 3, the old chainsaw up the ass and also the dick as well. And Arneb's from VHS Beyond's, I believe it was he had his face ripped off and it was put onto the robot. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I think this one's a no-brainer. As much as Aurora's one from In a Violent Nature is really, really good, I'm going to have to say it's Cole's from Terrifier 3 because it's a chainsaw up the ass and up the dick as well. That sucks royally. And he also chainsawed his leg off. And that sucks majorly. If that doesn't win best kill, I'm gonna throw a riot. I'm gonna have my own one-man riot. So yeah, that's what I think will win best kill. Best practical effects. Nominees being Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, In a Violent Nature, Stop Motion, The Substance, and Terrifier 3. I've seen 5 out of the 6 of them. I've not seen stop motion, so I don't necessarily know what the practical effects are. If I was to hazard a guess, it would be stop motion. But then again, I could be wrong. Alien Romulus used a lot of practical sets and a lot of practical creature stuff. Not only for the aliens, but for the, spoilers, for the big, weird hybrid creature at the end. God, that was so scary. Beetlejuice, of course, practical. Lots of stop motion in that as well. In a Violent Nature, practical with its kills. And, of course, Substance and Terrifier. Need I explain more with those? I think it is going to be a 2-horse race between Substance and Terrifier 3. And I would say I would give it to The Substance, mainly because they won an Oscar for this category. They won an Oscar for best makeup and hair at the Oscars. Terrifier 3 didn't, so I would have to say Substance is probably going to take it here. Best digital effects. Nominees being Alien Romulus, Arcadian, The First Omen, Infested, A Quiet Place Day 1, and VHS Beyond. Again, I've seen 5 out of the 6. Arcadian I haven't seen. Alien Romulus, I remember when that movie first came out and people kind of shat on the effects of the one android, who I can't remember the name of to save my life. It was the actor that played the android in the first Alien film. I'll say that. I remember people saying that those effects look like ass, and then it was nominated for best effects at the Oscars, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's to each their own, I guess. First Omen probably used a lot of digital stuff, not only for like certain scenes, but also probably maybe set extensions, maybe. Infested probably used a lot of CG for those spiders. Quiet Place Day 1, obviously, for the alien creatures from the Quiet Place franchise. And VHS Beyond, using not only a lot of practical stuff, but a lot of digital as well, for some of the certain segments that are in that movie. If I had to pick one, I would say A Quiet Place Day 1, mainly because I think if Alien Romulus won it, I think people might throw a fit about it. And many of the other ones, VHS Beyond has a shot at it, but I'm going to say it'll be A Quiet Place Day One that wins it, in my opinion. Best production design: Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Heretic, Lisa Frankenstein, Nosferatu, and The Substance. All six of these I've seen. And I think this is another three-horse race between Lisa Frankenstein, Nosferatu, and The Substance, because Lisa Frankenstein's production design feels so much ripped from Tim Burton films like mainly Edward Scissorhands, but also kind of that Beetlejuice aesthetic as well. Um, Nosferatu, obviously, Eggers is a stickler for things being historically accurate, so that's no surprise there. And then The Substance, making a soundstage look like California, that that deserves a lot of praise as well. Um, I said Substance would sweep all the categories that it's in. I might actually be a liar. I think it'll sweep most of the categories that it's in, because I have winning production design Nosferatu. I would say Nosferatu would get this, then it would be like Lisa Frankenstein and then The Substance. That's how I would rank them, but that's just my opinion. Um, and finally, best stunts or choreography. Nominees being Abigail, Alien Romulus, Mads or Mad S, however you want to say that title, Smile 2, The Substance, and VHS Beyond. This one's a tough one. I've seen 5 out of the 6 of them. Not seen Mads or Mad S, however you pronounce the movie. Um, the Substance really only has that one fight towards the tail end of the. Well, I guess it also has a lot of choreography with the workout routines. There's that. Um, but I would probably give this to Smile 2, only for the fact that a lot of prep and a lot of time was taken into developing the choreography for um, Sky Riley's character. And I know we only see like the briefest bit of it when she's rehearsing New Brain early on in the film, and then towards the later portion of the film, she gets snatched up by the Smile Dancers, which that was really, really good. Um, but yeah, I would probably have to give this one the edge to Smile 2. Substance is number 2, and then I would probably say Abigail is number 3, but I would probably say Smile 2 wins for best stunts and choreography. But yeah, there you go, guys. All of the nominees and my predictions as to who is going to win their prime ribs for the Dead Meat Horror Awards. Of course, check in towards the tail end of the month, where I'm going to be reacting to the Dead Meat Horror Awards to see if any of my predictions are actually right. Um, If you guys want more of these prediction videos, be sure to leave a like on this one. And of course, if you like what I'm doing, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well to let me know that I'm doing a good job. We're almost at 70 subscribers, which that would be awesome if we were able to hit that. But yeah, I will see you guys at the Dead Meat Horror Awards to see if any of my predictions are right. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later.